Phillies fans walking around Marlins Park have no fear of what might be waiting for them in the middle of the lineup for the Miami Marlins. So what's waiting in the middle of the lineup? Well, we saw it last night, and we can see it right there. That guy, Giancarlo Stanton, who put on a display to help the Marlins win last night's ball game. A home run that's been estimated anywhere between 475 and 490 feet. Tonight is Game 2 of a 3-game series between the Phillies and the Miami Marlins. Now, the Marlins are red hot. They've won 11 of 12. It's the best stretch over 12 games in franchise history. Meanwhile, the Phillies on this road trip, well, the offenses continue to struggle, but the starters' ERA, 5.08. They need to get that down beginning tonight with Jeremy Hellickson. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs. All right, so Giancarlo Stanton was the talk of last night's game, and he was really the talk around baseball because of the distance of his home run. Don Mattingly said, yeah, it was really impressive. The impressive thing is it gave us the lead, and that's what I was happiest about.
Well, he should be happy with the guy in that type of in the middle of the lineup who can hit a ball that far at any time in the ballpark. But what I find interesting about Stanton, he swings very early in the count. He's not a guy that really works the count. He doesn't go to 4, 5, 6 pitches. You can see right here, all hits on third pitch of a bat or less. So he swings early in the game, throughout the game. That's why you got to be so careful with the first couple of pitches in the at bat when you're facing him, early and late. But last night they did a nice job. Vince did a tremendous job with this off-speed pitch blown away. Gets the easy comebacker. Now all of a sudden you think, okay, now we found an area where we can go at. We're going to keep it low and away. Again, fastball low and away. Strike 3. Now Hector Neris comes in. What happens? The split finger fastball stays up in the zone, and he absolutely destroys this. Now the pitch is down in the zone, and that's the biggest thing that I'm so impressed with, is that the amount of pitches that he gets a chance to hit, he doesn't miss them.
He doesn't miss them. It's kind of like his hitting coach Barry Bonds used to be. But look at the home runs he's hit this year. That was the first one against a split. But you see a pattern there, Matt? Everything's sort of in the same area.
Well, it's in the same area. It's middle of the plate and it's down. We haven't seen the home run yet elevated above the waist. He's a very good low ball hitter. None of the fastballs have been really inside or the off-speed pitches. Everything is left out over the middle of the plate, down where he can get those big arms extended, and that's where his power is.
All right, well, the Phillies are hoping to quiet not only Giancarlo Stanton, but also a revamped Marlins lineup here tonight in Game 2 of this 3-game series. It will be Jeremy Hellickson on the hill, making his 7th start of the season. He'll be opposed by Tom Kohler. Both of these guys are kind of struggling. Kohler's struggling more with his command. You see the 13 walks so far in the 5 starts for the Miami Marlins. Well, it was nice to see Maikel Franco get it going last night. He had the double and the opposite field home run. He's back in the middle of the lineup for the Phillies. When we return, we'll head to the Comcast Sportsnet studios. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. By Toyota. Get a great deal on your favorite Toyota during the Toyota Time Sales Event. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank. The next time you have a question about money, don't keep it to yourself. Ask a citizen. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. There's Pete Mackanin, who has changed up his lineup again tonight for Game 2 of this series between the Phils and the Miami Marlins. Tom Kohler's out on the mound warming up. Let's take a look at that Phillies lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity. The new Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. It'll be Herrera, Hernandez, and Franco, followed by Ryan Howard, Carlos Ruiz, and Freddie Galvis. And the bottom third of David Lowe, Jeremy Hellickson, and Peter Borges. And they will face the 29-year-old right-hander from New Rochelle, New York, who is 2-3 with an ERA of 7.25. I always liked this guy, Matt, but he just hasn't developed this year the way the Marlins had hoped he would develop.
Yeah, he's been struggling, and he's been struggling finding the strike zone. He's got a good fastball, but you know, when you can't throw those fastballs for strikes and you got to come down with that big fat one down the middle, it usually gets hit pretty hard. So you check out the scouting report, 90-93 mile-an-hour fastball. Here's a 4-pitch pitcher. The league is hitting 396 versus his fastball.
I think the amazing thing is that that's not even tops in Major League Baseball. Odubel Herrera goes after that first fastball and fouls it back. It's 0-1. Odubel 3 for 5 in last night's ball game, overall hitting .330 with 3 home runs and 10 runs batted in. Odubel with 34 hits so far this year. 1 ball and 1 strike. It'll be Herrera, Hernandez, and Maikel Franco as the Phils try to score in the first inning, something they don't do that often, but it'd be nice to set the tone offensively with Jeremy Hellickson out on the hill. Inside, 2-1.
See again, a couple of fastballs. He's thrown 3 fastballs, just missing twice inside. Now you get back in a good hitter's count. Should be a good pitch to hit right here. This is where he's getting in trouble this year.
And he does throw a fastball, and Odubel's not happy that he missed it. And it's even the count up at 2-2. Odubel's been a good two-strike hitter, and that's why he's drawn so many walks. His on-base percentage at .453. The walk total is at 24. And a strike 3 call. I think he might have thought that was a little low. 1 away here in the first. Time now for the Nissan keys to the ball game.
Well, minus that first at bat with the strikeout. Key number 1, walks is the same as a hit. You know, don't go out of your strike zone against Kohler. He will walk you. He's averaging a little over 5 walks per game. And Borges built off yesterday's game. 2 for 2, 2 RBIs, 2 walks. Deuces are wild.
Cesar Hernandez fouls the first pitch off. It's 0-1. Yeah, that's the best game really that Peter Borges has had. Cesar was 0 for 5 last night. He's 3 for 18 on this road trip. And a line drive out towards center field, and Marcelo Zuna will take care of it. He hit it on the nose. And there are 2 outs here in the first. Matt, you mentioned the Kohler fastball numbers, 396, which is 5th highest in Major League Baseball, and that to me is stunning. 5th high. He's tied for 5th. The highest batting average against the fastball is Mike Fiers. The opposition's hitting .521 against the Astros pitcher. And you got to reach a certain amount of appearances to qualify for that number. Maikel takes upstairs, 1-0. Maikel went the opposite way last night with a home run.
And you said the great 2 words, opposite way. Staying on that baseball, driving it to right field. Now all of a sudden that little birdie in your head says, hey, I don't have to pull every baseball to hit a ball out of the ballpark.
He's a little out in front of that breaking ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. He finished 2 for 5 with those 2 RBIs in last night's game. Kohler in his last 2 games has gone 7 1/3. He's allowed nearly 3 base runners per inning in those 2 outings. He's delivered a curveball there. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Renee Wallace of Dover, Delaware. Phillies hit home run in today's ball game, and Renee will win $100. Lays off 3-2. They appeal. Bob Davidson says no swing. Threw him a changeup. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Kohler. And the side is retired. Nothing across for the Phils. On to the bottom of the first. The Phillies nothing, and the Marlins coming up against Jeremy Hellickson. First inning on a very nice night for baseball. Let's take a look at the Marlins lineup for tonight. It's brought to you by Xfinity. The new Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Leading it off at second base is Derek Dietrich, then Adeiny Echeverria. The shortstop bats second. Christian Yelich will hit third, followed by Giancarlo Stanton. Justin Bour starts tonight at first. Marcell Ozuna's back at center field hitting sixth. Chris Johnson moves across the diamond to third base. He'll bat seventh. Jeff Mathis eighth. At batting ninth and pitching is Tom Kohler, and they'll face right-hander Jeremy Hellickson. Hellickson 2-2, an ERA of 4.88. And so far, 33 strikeouts and 31 in the third. That bottom number, though, has been problematic for him. In fact, he gave up 3 home runs in his last start on this road trip against the Cardinals.
Well, and it's a problem with him right now because when you're not overpowering in the strike zone, you're living right around 90, 91. You need to get ahead. The problem is he's been getting behind, and all of a sudden you got to throw that cookie down the middle. And you check out the scouting report. He is a 4-pitch pitcher. Average, when we talked about his velocity, is about 89.6. Very good changeup, but I don't want him to see him use it a lot because teams will start sitting on it or the breaking ball.
Well, Derek Dietrich will lead things off tonight as Don Mattingly has changed up his lineup to give some guys some rest. Dietrich takes low. It's 1-0. Last night there was a moment during the second inning when Vince Velasquez was a little irritated at Derek Dietrich because he was taking so long to get back into the box, and he said something to him. And the home plate umpire, Dan Iasonia, had no idea what Velasquez was mad about. And we saw Pete McCannon out talking to Iasonia at one point, and that's what it was. 2 balls and no strikes to Dietrich. Outside 3-0.
So you would say that Velasquez would not want to pitch against Odubel Herrera?
Probably not. That is what actually crossed my mind when Pete was telling the story today. Probably not. There's a strike, and it's 3-1. Because Velasquez does get back to the mound, and he is ready to pitch. Did a nice job last night after struggling a little bit in the first couple of innings. On the outside corner, 3-2. Dietrich obviously thought that pitch was outside. It did look like the same pitch that was called strike one, or awfully close to the same pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Same spot, just a little farther outside.
Carlos creeping that way again. And a liner out towards center field. Odubel Herrera may have misjudged it initially, but he's able to track it down. And 1 out. Tonight's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. Here is Adeiny Echeverria, who had last night off. Don Mattingly was giving him last night off because he's been struggling this year, hitting .207 with 2 homers and 9 runs batted in. He has started to swing the bat a little bit better lately. His numbers were so low. Takes inside. It's 1-0, but he loves hitting against the Phils. Certain guys just are comfortable against certain teams, and hitting .429 against the Phillies in his last 11 games. Overall, a .284 hitter against the Phillies. Inside, 2-0.
You mentioned earlier about the fastball with Kohler, the batting average and him being 5th. I just saw the list. Zach Greinke, .411.
He had a couple rough starts, though, to begin the year.
Rough. Yeah.
Arizona fans were wondering, what did we pay for? 2 balls and 1 strike to Echeverria. Cracked his bat, and it's 2-2. Echeverria came on to play shortstop last night late in the game. Don Mattingly, his first year. Down low, 3-2. Over towards shortstop, and Freddie Galvis is up with it. 2 away. So he's gone 3-2 to the first 2 hitters, but he's gone back to get them. Here's Christian Yelich, who has 3 home runs batting his last 4 games, and last night's was a long one.
Yeah, this was an impressive one right here. He hit it, and he knew it was a bomb to right field. 2-0 fastball. In our third, to swing the bat well. Me personally, I think he's probably the best pure hitter on the team.
Yeah, look at those numbers. Those are pure hitter numbers. Giancarlo Stanton said after the ball game, he said, you know, they were saying that Yelich got big time pop now, so I had to catch him.
You know, and listening to you guys last night talking on the round table and talking about this guy as a hitter, and he does have the power and he does have the opportunity to be a 25 home run guy, but he has to figure out if he wants to be an average hitter, I mean high average guy, or power guy. You know, he is hitting very well this year, average-wise. So there's an area where you need to think about, okay, if 2-0, 3-1, do I want to try to jump ship, or do I want to think about hitting a ball on the line and hitting for an average? That's where I think he has to choose.
Inside, 1-2. Can he do both, though? I mean, I think he could be a 20 home run guy. Do you think he'll change his approach being a 20 home run guy?
No, I don't. He shouldn't. What he should do is what he did last night. When you get in a hitter's count,
bam,
go ahead and look for an area and take a round of batting practice and work on that swing.
Runs outside, 2-2.
I don't necessarily think he has to change a whole lot of an approach. He is hitting .337. Do I think he's a .337, 25 home run guy? No. I think he's a strong .285, .290 hitter with 25 to 30 home runs.
Change up and 3-2. Giancarlo Stanton waits on deck. Broke his bat, loops it out toward right, and it drops in for a base hit. So Yelich is aboard, a 2-out single, which brings Stanton to the plate. Here's his home run last night. This was a long one, folks. Not only did it give the Marlins the lead for good, it went out onto the concourse here at Marlins Park. He is a strong guy. And Murphy keeps on topping all these lists for longest home runs in not only Marlins history, but he's starting to creep up baseball-wise, too.
It's really kind of remarkable. That one last night certainly was remarkable. Before last night's game, we had put together kind of a compilation list since Giancarlo Stanton debuted in 2010, the list of longest home runs, and he is on top of that. The longest home run since 2010 is his at 494 feet. What was not on the list yesterday was the one that he hit last night. It is now number 2 on the list. It is 490 feet estimated last night, followed by Mike Trout, and Edwin Encarnacion is also on that list. But when we talked about it yesterday before the game, there you see it. That number, that second one, not even there. So now he's 1 and 2 since June the 8th, 2010. Some folks might remember that Evan Gattis home run. That one happened at Citizens Bank Park, 486 feet when he was a member of the Atlanta Braves. But certainly was impressive.
Well, the first pitch to him in this at-bat is a fastball in there. So he has 31 home runs of 450 feet or more since his debut. 31. Overall hitting 274.
He's a tree.
Big,
I mean, look at the size of him.
Yeah, he's a big tree. If he fell in the forest, you might hear him. That's a strike, and it's 0-2. So the numbers that Murph gave you, that's part of ESPN home run tracker, which if the home run, the estimated distance in feet of the home run and how it would have traveled if it flew uninterrupted all the way to field level or ground level. That's where they track that from. There's a couple different sites that have different ways of going about those numbers. That one just missed outside. It's 1-2. MLB StatCast, they use radar and photos to determine the distance of the home runs that they gauge. 490 just sounds a lot better.
You think?
Here is that Evan Gattis home run in 2013.
Yeah, this came in September 8th, and this thing was absolutely destroyed to center off Cole Hamels. As soon as he threw it, he knew he just gave up a 148.1 meter home run.
Out toward Tony Lukes in left center field. Again, the meters doesn't sound as impressive as the feet, though, Matt.
486 foot. That was on home run tracker.
1-2 pitch in the dirt, 2-2. 22 pitch first inning for Jeremy Hellickson. Back to the screen. It remains 2-2.
You know, it's interesting when we did the open and we talked about, you know, the home runs that Stanton hits. He has 10 this year, and all the home runs are pretty much the same area, middle of the plate, down the zone. He is a low ball hitter. A lot of teams still pitch him low and away. They don't elevate that elevate the baseball.
Particularly with 2 strikes.
Yeah, and I would think that a guy that big and the way he wants to get his arms extended, because almost all home run hitters, minus the guys sitting in the visitors in the home dugout, Barry Bonds, who never got his arms extended, he just had a short swing. They want to get their arms extended for that power.
2-2 is swung on and missed. It gets away from Carlos Ruiz. No, they're going to say he tipped it. Carlos is like me. He reacted as if it was just a swing and a miss off his glove.
No, it didn't look like he hit that.
It didn't. Heard a little bit of a tip, but I thought it was Carlos's glove. Swing and a miss. He got him this time, and the side is retired. It took a few pitches, but Jeremy Hellickson is through the first without allowing a run. We'll head to the second. Ryan Howard will lead it off for the Phils. Night will be Saturday, May 14th, when the Phillies take on the Cincinnati Reds. That cap right there is free to all fans. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. You can also check out Phillies.com if you want to see a larger version of the cap. Phillies fans hoping to see a home run from Ryan Howard. He has 39 career home runs against the Marlins. 7 home runs this year overall, 14 RBIs. Look at that, 39 career home runs. Pulls it to the right side, diving stop. And they throw him out. Diving stop for Chris Johnson, the third baseman, who had shifted over that way. So 5-3 on the putout. And there's one away.
Nice play by Johnson, throwing some range to his left. Tough landing.
He not only had some height on that dive, but some distance. Here's Carlos. He did not play in last night's game. He has 3 hits on the road trip. And it's 0-1. Well, tonight, at least through the first inning and a third, Tom Kohler is a strike thrower. Made some adjustments during this bullpen session with Juan Nieves this past week. Ground ball softly to shortstop. Echeverria is up with it. 5 up, 5 down. There is Juan Nieves, who's in his first year as the pitching coach for the Miami Marlins. I don't think Don Mattingly was planning on making a change at all But I think Kohler sensed that if he didn't figure some things out, whether he has or not remains to be seen, his spot in the rotation might have been in trouble. Delivers low to Freddie Galvis. Freddie was 2 for 4 in yesterday's game. Last year, Kohler was 11-14 with an ERA of 4.08. Pitched 187 in the third innings for the Marlins. And then in arbitration this past year, he was awarded $3.5 million. A raise of $3 million from last season. It's pretty good if you can get it.
Yes, it is. Being under 500 with an over a 4 ERA.
Got a $3 million raise.
Good for him.
I think part of that was the number of innings that he threw. I mean, it wasn't 200, but
I honestly, I think that's a number that's just so overrated.
what's that, innings pitched?
Oh, innings pitched. All right, Dickey got his contract picked up in Toronto for
Right.
what, 10 or 12 million because he's an innings pitcher. Who cares? You're not getting paid by the inning, right? Really, you're getting paid by success of having wins and giving your team a chance to win. Oh, but he throws 200 innings. Let's give him $11 million. Congratulations, bud. I get tired of hearing that.
Foul tip, and Galvis is struck out. That's 3 strikeouts for Kohler. So he has faced 6. He's retired all 6. 2 innings in the book for Kohler. He's on his way.
Rob Crew, when will Sam Bradford return to the Eagles?
John Feinstein, Glenn Macnow, and Raheem Brock join us on Monday with the latest on the Birds QB situation.
We'll see you Monday at 6 on the Comcast Network and breakfastonbroad.com.
Bottom of the second inning, Jeremy Hellickson allowed 1 hit in the first. And now we'll go after Justin Bour, Marcelo Ozuna, and Chris Johnson. Marlins are without tonight Martin Prado and JT Realmuto. Last night they were without Echeverria and Bour. Bour dislocated his pinky finger on Tuesday. He pinch hit in last night's game on the outside corner with the first pitch, and it's 0-1. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Bour last year played 129 games. There's Martin Prado, among the leaders in batting average. Played 129 games, hit .262, 23 home runs, and 73 runs batted in. Hits it foul down the left field line. That'll slice out of play. Nice numbers for a guy who was a 25th round selection back in 2009. Pulls it sharply to first, and Ryan Howard stays down on it. And one away here in the bottom of the second inning. One thing that's noticeable right out of the chute for Hellickson is that he is, I know he had a couple of 3-ball, 2-strike counts, but he's essentially around the plate. Nothing is way up, way out, way in.
He is, and I don't really necessarily call it nibbling because he's throwing fastballs, just missing the corners. Dale Scott's the most important guy tonight in the lineup, really. He needs to give those corners. And a little bit farther out, the first pitch to Bohr was just off the plate a little bit, but it's a good area, good spot for an umpire and a pitcher to live out there all day. Not good for a hitter.
Yeah. Dale Scott is the crew chief, veteran crew, with Bob Davidson at first and Iasonia at third. Lance Barrett is the youngster of the group.
Dale Scott, throughout my whole career, has been more of a pitcher's umpire, which means, and he doesn't do the north and south, he does the east and west. He'll give you a little bit more off the plate than height-wise and down in the zone.
Change up, and it's 1-2.
One of my top 5 umpires.
Yeah, he's been pretty good behind the plate during his career.
He's steady.
I thought Dan Iasonia was very good last night.
He's the top 6.
And we'll see Bob Davidson tomorrow. Oh, high fly ball to deep center field. Going back is Herrera, and it is gone. Into the bushes. The 6th home run of the year for Marcell Ozuna. And the 8th allowed by Jeremy Hellickson. Well, that would have been a home run even last year with the old dimensions. That honestly sounded like a home run when it left the bat.
Fastball's supposed to be away, and Hellickson knew. As soon as Ozuna hit that ball, he knew it was a home run.
So the Nationals, or excuse me, the Marlins lead at 1-0. Chris Johnson is now the batter. Johnson was 1 for 3 with a run scored in yesterday's game. Inside, 1-0. Well, they are a hot team, the Miami Marlins, and they do have a good offensive lineup. Here's an off-speed pitch. It's 1-1. Three home runs now in these 2 games for the Marlins. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Chicago has defeated Washington again 8-5. Adam Warren gets the win. He's 3-0. Addison Russell was 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs in that game. A liner out toward left center field. Herrera won't get it. It's going to go to the crevice out there, 400 feet away. And Johnson will stop at second. He has his 3rd double of the year.
We talk about this team being hot and swinging the bat very well. You look down their whole lineup, almost every single one of them can do some damage against you. Echeverria's been swinging the bat okay up late, struggled this season, but they all have a good approach. They all have a power swing. And again, power I don't mean by hitting a home run. I'm talking about a ball that Johnson just hit, crushes it up by the 407 for a double. Well,
and we mentioned they've won 11 of 12. It's the best 12-game stretch they've ever had, the franchise has ever had. And during that time, they're averaging 5 runs per game, a little more than 5 runs per game, and hitting close to 300 during that stretch.
And not by one person. As a whole group, as a whole team, they're swinging the bat well. That's how you win games. That's the biggest. That's the bottom line is you can't rely on Stanton to do it every night.
Curveball pulled toward third. Nice grab by Maikel Franco. He throws to second to try to double up Chris Johnson. What a play by Maikel Franco. Mathis goes to first thinking that the play was not called a line drive, but Dan Iasonia signaled almost immediately. I don't know if Bob Davidson realized it or not. Don Mattingly's coming out. It's not anything that you can challenge, but he definitely caught it. I mean, we saw that with a naked eye.
Well, yeah, and if he didn't catch it, Maikel would have got up and thrown to first base. You can see going to his right, almost the same play as yesterday. He caught it in the air, though.
He definitely caught it in the air, and now the umpires are going to confer. Lenny Harris is pointing back to second base, basically telling the base runner to get back. Dan Iasonia had this right. I hope he's not talked out of it by the other umpires. Bob Davidson and Lance Barrett, I don't think, had any angle at all to see it. It would be the home plate umpire, Dale Scott, that can confirm it. The other two guys, well, they could just cause a problem. Yeah, he caught that.
Caught that a foot off the ground.
Yeah, we kind of saw it from the get-go. Now Dale Scott says it was a catch. Now Don Mattingly got confirmation from Tim Wallach, who went and looked at it. So he's not going to argue because he knows that it was the right call. So two away.
So you say that play is non-reviewable?
Non-reviewable.
Because it didn't go to the grass?
Correct.
I thought that was only for foul balls.
No. Fair or foul, but down in the grass.
Right.
Tom Kohler's 1 for 6. He takes a curve, and it's 0-1. Up high, 1 ball, 1 strike.
So a question for you, Tom, and about the rules in the outfield. If the outfielder makes a dive, you can review it to see if he caught it or trapped it, right?
Yes.
So what's the difference with an infielder?
Just part of the rules. It's one of those things that,
because it doesn't get to the grass.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we always talk about, foul tips and whether that should be reviewable.
Right.
That's a play right there. If they had reviewed it, they would have seen that Maikel Franco had caught it. 1 ball, 1 strike in the dirt, 2-1. Part of the theory is that ground balls or line drive one hoppers past the first and third base bag, the angles are difficult to pick up with review. Well, at least that's what they had said originally. I don't know if that's changed or not.
Right.
2-1 pitch to Kohler. Foul back to the screen, 2-2. So already be the 43rd pitch for Jeremy Hellickson. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, says Bob Davidson. Side is retired. Second strikeout for Hellickson. A run does score, though, on the home run by Marcell Ozuna. We'll head to the third. Marcell Ozuna and the Marlins on top 1-0 over the Phillies. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fan section for all the information. Please submit your answer on the subject line. The question is, what two second basemen, Matt, have won Gold Gloves for the Marlins? What two second basemen have won Gold Gloves for the Marlins? Answer will be revealed in just a little bit. 1-0 Marlins on top as we go to the top of the third. Doesn't matter what time what kind of team the Phillies have. Every time we come down here to South Florida, there are Phillies fans that are sprinkled throughout the ballpark, whether it be at the old park, which is about 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away from here, or this facility. Phillies fans do get a chance to see their team in person. Summer's coming. Start making plans for some of the best weekend promotions. A reminder that Saturday, June 18th, when the Phillies take on the Arizona Diamondbacks, it's the AT&T Michael Franco Bobble Figurine, which is free to all fans. And also there are fireworks shows coming up Friday, July 1st and Saturday, July 2nd, when the Phillies take on the Kansas City Royals. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. We begin the third, and David Lowe will lead it off. It'll be Lowe, Hellickson, and Borges. Against Tom Kohler, who, when he made his major league debut, was the second Stony Brook pitcher to pitch in the big leagues. The first was closer Joe Nathan, who Kohler's college field is named for. Kohler, now 29 years old, was not drafted out of high school, much to his chagrin. Was not drafted after his junior year in college, or I should say was drafted in his junior year in college by a team that he said never scouted him, and that's the Marlins. 1-2 pitch coming to Lowe. Inside, 2-2.
Well, whatever he worked on in the bullpen seems to work so far. 27 pitches, 18 strikes.
There's a liner out toward right. Stanton won't be able to get it. It gets toward the track, and Lowe trying for two. The throw is not in time, and Lowe is able to keep his hand on the bag. Man, does he have an arm. How about that? David Lowe is one of the fastest guys the Phillies have, and he just barely got to second base. But he got there. That's his third double.
Well, there's two things that are impressive. One, he gets to cut that ball off before it gets to the wall. But all of a sudden, he plants a little bit, throws off balance, but still shows a very strong arm. And David thought the whole way of two.
How could you not?
Very good slide right there as well.
Yeah, on the infield side of it.
Yes.
So his third double, and now Hellickson will be up there to try to get him over to third base. Jeremy Hellickson is a decent hitter for a pitcher. Takes low, 1-0. Phillies had this situation in St. Louis when Aaron Nola was at the plate, where Pete Mackanin had Nola swing away after showing bunt the first time. I asked him the next day his thought process. He said, honestly, I didn't think it was in Aaron's heart to bunt. He said he just didn't seem like he was prepared to bunt.
In his feeling of if you can bunt or not, you still need to bunt in that situation.
That's bunted toward first, and they've got to play at third, and Lowe is out at third base. David Lowe just asked, he didn't push me off, so he must have felt like he was out. Well, credit Justin Bohr for reacting quick enough to get that throw over. And, you know, Lowe had to wait and make sure that ball wasn't going to be caught. I think that's what delayed him a little bit at second base.
Well, it delayed him a little bit at second base, but remember, You don't have to take off. See his foot right there, stays on. Then all of a sudden
so he was
off,
safe first.
and then it comes off.
And that's what he's saying, that was he pushed off. It almost looked like his momentum, Matt, was pushing him off, not that Johnson did it.
Right, but remember, Tom, you said that he had to pause a little bit to make sure the ball got down. Then, you, as a runner at second base, you don't have to go to third.
You're still in scoring
you
position.
read the play.
Borges fouls it back. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Interesting that Lowe does a head first slide into second base, but goes feet first into third.
Well, let's see if Peter Borges can carry over your key for him to carry over his success last night into tonight. Two balls and 2 strikes. Check swing. Low. Bohr has it, steps on the first base bag, and now they're going to get Jeremy Hellickson in a double play. Side is retired, so the Phillies began the inning with a leadoff double, but unable to get that run home. Justin Bohr was a big reason why. We'll head to the bottom of the third. It's 1-0 Marlins. Is brought to you by T-Mobile. Get Major League coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE since 2015. By your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to the local Del Val Honda dealer. Visit DelValHondaDealers.com. And by WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Bottom of the third. A variety of Phillies caps that are in the yard tonight. Phillies trail at 1-0. Their first hit was a leadoff double by David Lowe. They tried to bunt him over to third, but he was tagged out by Chris Johnson when Jeremy Hellickson's bunt went to first instead of toward third. Hellickson was involved in that rundown at the end of the inning. That ended the inning, so that's why he's warming up now. David Lowe stopped to talk to Dan Iasonia as he walked out toward left field. We told you that he thought he may have been pushed off the bag by Chris Johnson on that tag, and as he stopped and talked to him, Iasonia went over. You can see the hand signals he was using. What he thought, and what he thought was that Lowe's own momentum carried him off the bag. You cannot push a runner off a bag anymore. That's something that umpires are looking out for more and more. Here's Derek Dietrich. He flied out the first time up.
Didn't the rule change as well about the tag? You're not supposed to leave the tag on a person.
Right, and then force them off. Yeah. The best at that?
Chase
Utley. Chase was also the best at blocking the bag with his leg. Never understood why nobody would go in spikes first when he would do that. They'd always go in head first, but he would keep on doing it. It's 3-1 to Derek Dietrich, who was able to run the count to 3-2 before flying out to center his first time up. He's a little different leadoff hitter than JT Realmuto.
Same pitch as his first at bat, 3-1, right on the corner. This time he knew better, instead of dropping the bat and running to first base.
Three-two pitch. Over to the right side. Cesar Hernandez charges. And there's one away. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Echeverria now the batter. By the way, Dietrich and Realmuto batting leadoff because of the absence of D. Gordon, suspended from baseball for 80 games for using an illegal using a steroid. Gordon's last game was on the 27th of April. He finished strong against the Dodgers, but since his suspension, they're 6-1, and they're averaging almost 6 runs per game. Imagine if he was in the lineup.
He was swinging the bat well, too, before he got caught.
Peter Borges in right field comes in a step or two. 2 outs. And now the dangerous part of the Marlins lineup begins with Christian Yelich, who singled his first time up. I would think you like this stance that he has.
I do. It's I'm not a big fan of where his hands are located.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
I think he puts his hands there because he wants to pass it back to the umpire. That's where he gets in that loaded position.
Yeah, the leg kick seems to ignite the hands.
Right, as it should. Yeah, he's in a good power stance. Both eyes looking at the pitcher. Open up just a hair. Now with 2 strikes, he goes back to where he wants to use the whole part of the field. He cuts down on the swing a little bit. Pitched prior to that when he took a big swing at it, stepped in the bucket a little bit. You can tell by the way you finish landing on your heel. Now he closes up his stance a little bit and thinks about making contact.
Swinging bunt, Hellickson off the mounds. Side is retired. 1-3 on the putout. His best inning so far. 3 in the books here in South Florida. We'll go to the 4th inning. The Phil's looking for some offense when we come back. Color. Avery neon shipping labels ensure all your shipping messages get noticed. Perfect for any priority message. And WB Mason delivers the same day when you order by 11:30. Local service, personalized. Who but WB Mason? Along with Matt Stairs and Greg Murphy, I'm Tom McCarthy. We go to the top of the 4th inning. Phillies down 1-0. Odubel Herrera struck out his first time up. Struck out looking his first time up. That doesn't happen that often, at least this year.
Especially on a fastball inside.
Odubel came into this ball game 9th in the league in hitting at .330. The leader in the clubhouse, Daniel Murphy, who was hitting over .400 before today. Odubel taking all the way, 3-1. Now he has at times taken more than one strike.
He will not here.
I was going to say, I don't think he's in that mode.
I think he's tired in the walking mode. He wants to hit now.
Unless he runs outside like that and he draws the walk, so he's aboard. That's the first walk issued by Kohler. Leadoff batters aboard. Cesar Hernandez is coming up. Well, Murph, the Phils are 2 games over 500. Much better record-wise than they were at this point last year.
Yeah, Tom, it's hard to believe 30 games already in the books this season, so a good time to compare where they were a year ago at this time after 30 games. As you mentioned, 16-14 this year. They were 11-19 at this point last year, so 5 games ahead of that pace. And the numbers, well, they're what you would expect. They're scoring more runs this year. The average is just about the same. More home runs, 9 more home runs this season at this point than there were a year ago. Starters ERA is much better, but the bullpen ERA is not as good as last year, which makes a lot lot of sense when you think about some of the names that are gone from last year's bullpen. And then, of course, the errors as well. A lot less errors this year through 30 games. So, all in all, you add up those numbers, it adds up to about 5 more wins, and that's where the Phils are right now.
Yeah, the error part of it, a lot of those errors are in the outfield. A lot of them are Odubel Herrera, who has 4 of the 16 errors so far. You forget how the Phillies bullpen, it was pretty darn good to start the year last year. 0-1 to Cesar Hernandez. It's a back toward the middle. That'll leak into center field, a base hit. Odubel's around second, and he will stop there. Marcell Ozuna got to it quickly. And Maikel Franco is coming up.
Good swing right there. Hitting the ball hard up the middle. Like his first at bat, he actually hit a missile up the middle line drive to center field. This time hit it on the ground, where the Phillies coaching staff would love to see him hit more. But very good decision on Odubel Herrera, not deciding to go to third base, because if you thought Stanton had a good arm, Ozuna has a cannon.
Yeah, and the key was Ozuna getting to the ball fast. Sometimes he's not the fastest of pursuers. So now with nobody out, Maikel Franco will stand in. Odubel goes diving back.
That's a set play before you even get a sign from your catcher. Now they got first and second situation. They tried to do it last night. They throw out a sign before you throw a number down or pitch what you want. It's a timing mechanism, so it's a 1001, 1002, everyone breaks and goes.
Dietrich was just a little late to get to his 1001, 1002.
Yeah.
He was on 1001 and a half.
1001 Mississippi. He was on Mississippi's.
He's lucky that the throw went to him and didn't go to the bag, because it may have gone right into center field. In the dirt. Mathis is able to block it. Boy, it would be nice for Franco with the middle of this order to cause some damage after the first 2 runners get on base here in the 4th inning.
And this is a perfect time for Franco to not look for the big 3-run home run to left field. First and second situation, your job is to still drive the ball to right center. Even though it is a first and second situation, you still need to do your job by getting the runner from second to third. So you think, let's hit the ball to this area right out in here. That way you stay behind the baseball and you still drive the baseball instead of hitting a weak ground ball to third or to short.
Kind of the approach he had last night.
Correct.
Out to center field. That's well struck. It should get Herrera over to third. Ozuna's under it. Makes the catch. His throw goes to second. And the Phillies will have runners on first and third with 1 man down. Cesar did tag, but saw the throw coming in quickly and opted not to go to second base.
Now it's a totally situation, and I'm tremendous at bat, and I think, to me, in baseball, that's where an area should change. That should be a sac fly. What's the difference from giving yourself up, laying a bunt down, or hitting a ball to the outfield, runner goes from second to third? But now it's the 4th inning. You did a good job. There's a little pat in the back for you. Nice job getting a runner to third base. Now you're relying on your teammate behind you to pick you up, because now you just hit a ball to center field, sacrifice that at bat to advance a runner.
Yeah, and some other ballparks, you never know. I mean, that ball was hit pretty well. Howard gets a good rip at that first pitch. It's 0-1.
Now it's a totally different story if it's 2-0, 3-0, but a 1-0 game, good approach.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I think there probably are folks who wonder, well, he's the number 3 guy, kind of drive him in, but it is a 1-0 game. You're trying to tie it up and then move forward from there.
Well, you can still drive that guy in. I'm not saying that you have to hit the ball that way. That's the approach you take that way, because what it does, it just keeps your barrel through the zone a little longer, and you're not pulling off the slider and hitting a weak comebacker to the pitcher or a weak ground ball to third. So everything you think about hitting the ball to right center, there is a purpose. You can still turn on that baseball.
A high fly ball to left. This should be deep enough to score Herrera. Yelich is under it, waits for it, makes the catch. Herrera will score. The throw goes to second, and we're tied up at 1. RBI number 15 for Ryan Howard. And it's a 1-1 ball game.
It's a good at bat right there. You get a fastball, you drive it deep enough in the outfield. That's how you score runs, and that's how you can, instead of always sitting there and trying to hit that big home run. Now that fly ball there, Yelich had no opportunity to get behind it because it was so high that there's no way you can get behind that baseball. It's usually a semi-fly ball or not as high of a fly ball to get behind. Now you go ahead and steal second base.
And Carlos asked for time. We were talking to Pete the other day about Cesar over at first. Remember there was that game in St. Louis where you said Cesar should run, and I asked Pete about that. He said, yes, we want him to run. He goes, we're to the point now we don't like to do this. Well, we're just going to tell him run. A lot of managers do not want to tell somebody to run. They want them to do it on their own.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of base stealers, and I'm not putting Cesar in a base stealer area yet because I think he could be, but a lot of times when you get the steal sign, you freeze as a base runner. I know I did.
And that's what Pete was saying.
You didn't catch that one, did you, Tom?
No, you were a good base stealer when you were in the minor leagues. I wasn't thinking major league. I'm thinking minor leagues.
Right, and honestly though, when guys get to first base and they get the steal sign, they freeze a little bit, they tighten up a little bit. Okay, I have to go. I have to get a good jump. Next thing you know, they're a little late getting a jump instead of just being relaxed and picking a pitch. But you got to realize it has to be early in a count.
Fly ball to right field. And Giancarlo Stanton is there to make the catch, and the side is retired. But the Phillies do tie it up. They get a sac fly from Ryan Howard. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. It's a 1-1 ball game. Toyota.com to find your RAV4 today. Toyota, let's go places. Along with the self-deprecating Matt Stairs, I'm Tom McCarthy. Now let me go back to the stolen base thing, because when you were saying that you were a base stealer, I was buying into it because you and I have talked about this before. You have always said I was a base stealer in the minor leagues. You had a year when you had 20 steals and a year when you had 23 steals.
That's right.
All right, so when you say you would freeze as a base stealer. You were putting yourself down as not a fast runner, but I know different. I know your minor league numbers.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say I was I was a smart runner. I was a lot skinnier runner back in the day.
You would freeze when somebody would tell you to steal.
Exactly. My manager, Mike Quaddy at the time, would always say, you guys that can steal the bases, and he let everyone steal. And we just ran like there was no tomorrow. And
you ran like the wind, Matt Stairs.
Well, that's why my hair fell out. But yeah, I mean that's how it is. It's when you get the signs.
Galvis in the hole.
In the shift
yep.
hole. Yeah, so I still believe that Cesar Hernandez can't be a base stealer. I just don't want to see him go ahead and get the sign. And next thing you know, what happens? You start leaning forward and you try to anticipate it instead of being relaxed and just seeing the, once they break the hands, you're gone.
Well, I would agree with you on that. I've never understood that part of it. That a base steal would freeze, but you're not alone in saying that. Larry Boa has said that. Ryan Sandberg said that before.
You tense up.
Charlie Manuel used to say that all the time. There's something to it.
Yeah, there is.
Base stealer, you. Justin Bour takes inside. It's 1-0. Out front, and it's 1-1. A changeup, which the opposition is hitting $176 against so far this season, which is an excellent average from a Jeremy Hellickson standpoint. A high fly ball to deep left field. Forget about it. That is opposite field power, and a great catch by that fan. And the Marlins take a 2-1 lead. That is some big-time power the opposite way. With a guy that has a dislocated finger, his 4th home run of the year and the 2nd homer of the night for the Marlins. Well, Don Mattingly said after the ball game last night that he has learned in his short time here in Miami that the ball does fly more with the roof open. I don't know if that helped that at all. That's just big-time strength.
Well, it is, especially when it's a fastball up in the zone a little bit. And you can hit a line. That's literally a line drive almost into the seats.
Marcell Ozuna hit one to center field his first time up. Not in Giancarlo Stanton's territory or even Christian Yelich's territory, but it's some pretty good strength the opposite way. Change up low to Ozuna. It's 3-0. Balls and 2 strikes.
Good pitch. Pitch it backwards, 3-1. Think you're going to get a fastball and throws a changeup. So as a hitter, you think 3-1. He's got to throw it 3-2.
Got him. He did throw it. Strikeout number 3 for Hellickson. 2 gone here in the 4th.
And one thing I noticed, watch the top hand of Bour right here, how he just throws it and keeps it going on the top hand and throws that barrel. If he doesn't use his top hand, that ball he hits there is a weak fly ball to left field because the barrel drops. Now all of a sudden you use that top hand that top hand goes to the zone, you're throwing the barrel.
You got to be strong to be able to do that.
Well, you do it, but it's all about technique. It's all about being able to trust that top hand. And it doesn't mean when I use that top hand, I'm going to roll over to second base or I'm going to roll over to first base. It's just controlling that barrel more through the zone.
Johnson takes high. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, so if I get my stance and I take that barrel and I hit the outside pitch, I need to throw that barrel this way and follow through. It's not going to be this way. It's going to be here and then going through. That's how the barrel stays to the zone longer with authority, and you're not dropping the barrel.
Your top hand is staying engaged all the way through. It's not sort of fading off at the end.
Right. And that's what we call about having control of the barrel and throwing the barrel to the ball. That swing right there was a perfect picture of how you throw that barrel to the baseball.
Inside, 2-2 to Chris Johnson. Phillies tied it up in their half of the 4th inning. The Marlins have retaken the lead. Still plenty of time left. The Phils will have Freddie Galvis leading it off in the top of the 5th inning. See if Hellickson can get through this inning. All right, the fish weren't biting there. 3-2. Ground ball to shortstop. Freddie Galvis is up with it. And the side is retired. 1 run, though, on the opposite field home run by Justin Bour. Onto the 5th inning. Galvis will start it off when we come back. Brockman Institute, the Phillies are hosting Yoga Day on Saturday, May 21st at 9 a.m. prior to the Phils-Braves 3:05 game. $50 package includes 60-minute yoga session on the field, Phillies brand yoga mat, lower level game ticket, and complimentary parking. Food and drink specials for participants at Xfinity Live in between yoga and the game. For more information or to order your tickets, go to phillies.com/yoga. Freddie Galvis will start it off here in the top of the 5th inning. Kohler throws a curveball and it's 0-1. Galvis struck out his first time to the plate. Everybody has to do a little dancing and get out of the way of that one.
So Kohler's been pretty good with his fastball tonight, but when he misses by a ton. That pitch right there, the fastball inside. Or he misses way up and away to left-handers.
Change up, and it's 1-2. Well, Freddie Galvis strikes out for the second time. It's just not picking up Kohler in tonight's game, and that's 4 strikeouts for Tom Kohler. Not a strikeout pitcher, but with 1 away, David Lowe's coming up.
Curveball down and in. Tough to lay off as a left-hander, especially with 2 strikes.
Lowe reached on a double his first time up. Just staying alive, recognized the pitch and stayed with it to foul it away. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Braves and the Diamondbacks are tied at 2. Freddie Freeman's heating up. In fact, he's had a pretty good couple of weeks after really struggling the first 3 weeks of the season. Braves entered play tonight 11.5 games out in the National League East. Phillies 3.5 out. Marlins 2.5 out. Although everybody has gained a half game because the Nationals lost today to the Cubs. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Kohler. That's 5 Ks. And Hellickson will be the hitter here in the 5th inning.
It's a good looking slider right there. Mathis went the pitch prior to that with a curveball, wanting it to drop right behind home plate. This time he goes with the slider down and in. The dangerous area, but if it's located very well, not going to make contact.
Hellickson tried to bunt his first time up to sacrifice and was more bunting with self-defense than anything else. And he had it, wound up bunting it toward first, and then David Lowe was thrown out trying to go to third. Outside, 2-1.
I would believe he's taking this pitch.
And he does for ball 4. 2-out walk to the opposing pitcher. And Peter Borges, who hit into a double play his first time up, will be the batter.
Good take right there. His first swing, he was geared up. He didn't really recognize the slider or the spin on the baseball. Took a wild swing. Next pitch got into better balance. It just, you could tell he could recognize the pitch coming out of the hand early, which is a key as a hitter. Again, another good take. Peter's been working on, Mike worked with him in spring training, Mike Schmidt, of getting that separation, getting his hands going back. He's going with the bat on the shoulder now for a relaxed position, better balance. And now all of a sudden when the front foot goes down, his hands go back and get in the separation again.
Out to right field. That'll slice out of play, and it's 2-2.
He started working on that stance the last homestand for the 3-game homestand versus the Indians.
Well, they certainly have given him the opportunity to hit his way out of this season-long slump that he's had. Lays off, and a strike 3 called. And Kohler's just struck out the side. That's 6 strikeouts for Kohler. No runs, no hits. 1 man left. On to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's 2-1. Marlins on top. It's now time for our Citizens Bank Minor League Report. Lehigh Valley defeated Scranton yesterday. Alec Asher continues to throw well. 7 innings, 3 hits. He began the year in Double-A and now is pitching in Triple-A and is picked up right where he left off in Double-A. Now, Reading was postponed last night. They played a doubleheader, playing a doubleheader today. They won Game 1, 2-1, and they're playing Game 2 as we speak. Angelo Mora had a walk-off RBI single in game number 1. Threshers defeated Tampa yesterday. Zach Green 3 for 4, a double and 2 runs scored. And the Blue Claws lost to Asheville. Emmanuel Marrero 4 for 5 with an RBI and 3 runs scored. How about Reading has allowed just 12 runs in its last 6 games? We head to the bottom of the 5th inning here in Miami. And it's 2-1. It's 2-1 Marlins on top. By the way, in today's game, Jorge Alfaro made his return and in his first at bat hit a double off the wall.
Coming back from a little oblique strain.
Yep.
Nice to see him back in the lineup and being healthy, swinging the bat well.
Jeff Mathis leads it off for the Marlins here in the bottom of the 5th. They lead it 2-1 on 2 solo home runs. And it's 1 ball and no strikes. Had a play over the Phillies dugout. off-speed pitch. It's been pretty good tonight, his changeup. And it's 1-2 to Jeff Mathis. Despite the 2 home runs and the fact he's trailing 2-1, this outing by Hellickson is way better than his outing earlier on this road trip. And he strikes out Mathis looking, throws him back-to-back changeups in different spots. 4 strikeouts and 1 gone here in the 5th.
Well, and what I like, what I've seen tonight is, one is he's a little quicker on the mound. His changeup's been very good. It's been down the zone. Yes, he's given up 2 solo home runs, but you can see all of a sudden he's using 62% fastballs. But I still love that cutter though, and he doesn't throw it very often. And we saw it in spring training, and it's a good cutter.
He didn't throw it at all against the Cardinals the other day.
Yeah, I'm not saying I want to see him throw at 10, 12%, but it's not a bad pitch to throw belt high inside to a left-hander. Destroy the barrel of the bat. Like
soft grounder, yep, out to shortstop. 2 outs.
But it just seems like he has a little more rhythm. And again, 2 solo home runs, you can live with that because you're not walking guys. The next thing you know, it's a 2 or 3 run home run. It's going to happen by giving up some solo home runs. I think he's pitched very well today. All in all, with the strike zone of being able to throw inside and left, inside to right-handers, he's mixing some good curveballs, better spotting with the fastball. But I think tonight his changeup's been the best I've seen in probably his last 3 or 4 starts.
Yeah, tonight isn't about him as was the last time, but it's about the offense not getting anything going. Dietrich has run back-to-back 3-ball 2-strike counts. He's flat out to center, and he's grounded out to second base. Curve ball, that's in there, 1-1. Little surprise pitch right there. Out to left center field, slicing away from Herrera, and he won't get it. It takes a hop off the wall, played cleanly by Lowe. Dietrich stops at second. A 2-out double. And the Marlins have a runner in scoring position for Echeverria. Boy, that was ideally placed by Dietrich because it sliced away from the center fielder Herrera.
Well, and you have to stay on that curveball as long as possible. The backdoor curveball, if you pull off just a little bit, it's a weak ground ball, but he stayed through, hit that ball to left field very nicely, almost like Espinoza when we faced the Nationals. He hit the same pitch, curveball to left field. You have to tell yourself you have to stay on this pitch as long as you can.
Well, Echeverria is grounded to shortstop. He also has lined softly to right field. 2 men down here in the bottom of the 5th inning. There's that changeup again. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
That pitch has been Jeremy's best pitch for versus right-handers tonight. He's had good control of the curveball, except for the last one he threw for the double. But it's the right-handers that are thinking that's the fastball, and they are not picking up that changeup at all.
It's a good point because a lot of times you see the changeup against the left-handers. Off the hands into right field, a base hit. Borges gets to it quickly. Here comes Dietrich. The throw to the plate is a strike, and Dietrich is out at home plate. And Carlos Ruiz took a whipping and was able to get to his feet without any problem whatsoever. Dietrich lowered his shoulder as Carlos played it perfectly, and the inning is over. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 man left. He went in feet first, and Dietrich then went in with his shoulder after his feet went to the plate, but Carlos was able to stand his grounds. Philly of the Week has enjoyed the first month of the 2016 season. Mikel's bat has connected with consistency and done so with eye-opening power as expected when he arrived at the major league level. In addition to the bat, the glove has been quite impressive itself over at the hot corner. Quick on his feet, Franco rarely lets a ball get by, and he can make throws from wherever he lands. And his early season performance is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Carlos Ruiz did everything you're supposed to do as a catcher on that last play to finish up the inning. Rule 7.13 no longer allows a catcher to block the plate unless he is within possession of the baseball. And that's essentially what Carlos did. He had plenty of time to catch the ball, then turn and smother that area and not allow Derek Dietrich to get to the plates. Really good throw by Peter Borges. It gave Carlos a good position to make the catch and then get into that lane. Marlins were thinking about asking for a review, and it was going to be of that rule, but everybody did everything the right way. Dietrich went in feet first. He could have actually done a little more damage if he wanted to, based on the rule, but he went in feet first the way you're supposed to. And Carlos gave him plenty of a lane, but the ball arrived so early that he was able to do everything he could to not allow him to get to the plate. 2-0 pitch to Herrera is outside. It's 3-0. Carlos is talking to John McLaren and Cameron Rupp. John is the catching coach. He also acts as another voice for Pete Mackanin in the dugout, a former major league manager. A pitcher's strike with the count 3-0.
I always find that funny when a hitter takes a 3-1 or 3-0 count, calls it a strike, and the hitter says, "Good pitch."
That one is ripped deep down the right field line. Foul. Whoa. They're all looking for it.
That's how you're supposed to attack a 3-1 pitch. Unfortunately, it went foul. Now he caught a slider coming.
Stays alive and is able to foul it off up the first base line. Odubel walked and scored the only run for the Phils. That was in the 4th inning. Up again here in the 6th. Threw him another breaking pitch. That was the curve. Earlier it was the slider. He's thrown the curveball 25% of the time, the slider that just 12% of the time. Strike 3 call. Boy, Odubel's down looking on strikes for the 2nd time in this ball game. 7 strikeouts for Kohler. Well, it's time now for our Hyundai defensive play of the game. We just saw it to wrap up the bottom of the 5th inning.
Yeah, Peter Borges does a very nice job coming in, takes 2 steps and throws a strike all the way in the air. Now Carlos gave the area to slide. Once he caught the ball, came across, blocked home plate. So very nice play, and that's your Hyundai defensive play of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. And look, he gives the lane. So there's the lane for the guy to slide into. Now, once you have the ball, go right ahead and block it. Old school baseball.
Swing and a miss. It's 0-2. One ball and 2 strikes to Cesar, who has 1 for 2. He singled. He also lined out to center. Swing and a miss. Well, all of a sudden, Tom Kohler is a strikeout machine. It's 8 strikeouts. That was the changeup. I mean, he's got some pretty good pitches going.
Yeah, actually, that at bat right there against Cesar, he started him off with the changeup, backed it up with the changeup, wasted a fastball, and finished him off with the changeup.
His changeup does have some good actions right now. We're seeing 2 pitchers who are utilizing that pitch effectively in this ball game. Fly ball right side. Dietrich, the second baseman, is over, and he makes the catch. A 1-2-3 inning. That was as dominating an inning as you're going to see from Tom Kohler. Middle of the 6th inning, Phillies down 2-1. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Get a great deal on your favorite Toyota during the Toyota Time sales event. Toyota, let's go places. By McDonald's, jumpstart your morning with a hot or iced McCafe coffee. Now starting at just $1. And by Yellowwood, brand pressure treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it. Nice night here in Miami. Just a few miles from downtown. Marlins Park, which is the former site of the Orange Bowl. Christian Yelich will lead it off. It'll be Yelich, Stanton, and Bohr. No balls and 1 strike. He starts him off with a changeup.
Yeah, we're seeing 2 pitchers lock in their changeup the last inning and a half or inning and 1 pitch.
Cutter.
I believe so. 86, had a little bit of movement. Now he's at 1.1%.
But that's what you're talking about against the left-hander.
It surprises you. I mean, I'd like to see it elevated a little bit more and more inside.
Well, he has not thrown a fastball in this at-bat to Yelich. One ball, 2 strikes. That one is looped out to the left field. It'll drop for a base hit. Yelich is aboard with his 2nd hit. And Stanton's coming up. Time now for our cold hard fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Clean Crisp Coors Light. Giancarlo Stanton, the lowest at-bat to home run ratio, the minimum of 50 plate appearances. The average is, look at the average, 32.16. His is at 9.50. Nolan Arenado's at 9.50. And then Harper is just a hair ahead of Chris Carter.
Pretty good.
Sure is. Stanton's 0 for 2. He is struck out and grounded out to short. Now the ground out was toward the hole in the overshift. The Phillies can't do that with a runner at first. It's more of a traditional double play depth setup. Runner goes, pitch is a strike, throw to second base is not in time. Yelich with his 2nd stolen base. You get an excellent jump, and you know, Jeremy Hellickson's not the quickest to the plate with his high leg kick, so Carlos really had no chance to throw him out.
He had a tremendous jump. Even though Carlos made a pretty strong throw to second base. Like you said, Tom, no chance of throwing him out.
One ball and 1 strike to Stanton. This is during the previous at bat.
Everything has a purpose in baseball. Being on deck, getting your timing down, watching what he's doing.
And the space here, I think, is to the advantage of the hitter because you're so close to home plate. You can kind of get a better sense.
Some people love to get their timing on deck. Frank Thomas, he used to kneel on 1 knee and just watch.
Low again, 2-1. Surprisingly low batting average. Most of his RBIs come with the home run. Chopper out to shortstop. Galvis has it. Yelich back to the bag. 1 away. That's 1 big out.
Yeah, it's 1 great pitch.
I wondered for a moment if they would put him on, but then you're picking your poison. You got a guy that's already homered and a guy that's homered earlier from the right side after him.
And that's one area there that big guys do not like to be pitched inside for strikes. They can't get their arms extended. Bigger yet, he didn't allow him to get the base runner from second to third with only one out.
And that one goes right between the legs of Carlos Ruiz. 1 ball, no strikes.
Not a real good time to get crossed up. Looks a fastball inside.
Oh, yeah.
Throws him the curveball.
They have scored that a wild pitch. So now the Phillies play the infield in. It's 1 ball, no strikes to Justin Bour. He homered the opposite way his last time up. Here it is.
I mean, that pitch that's actually a good pitch. It's up a little bit, but it's still on the corner of the plate. Man is strong, and he has some strong hands.
Another one of those no batting glove guys.
Oh.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Mets and the Padres facing off out in San Diego. Cespedes, a 2-run home run, has given New York a 2-0 lead. The Mets entered that game just a game back behind the Washington Nationals. Nationals have lost 3 straight. The Mets won last night against San Diego. Actually, excuse me, the Mets have lost 2 straight also.
They lost last night 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah.
Another breaking ball, 3-1. 100 pitches now for Hellickson. Phillies do have bullpen action behind him. Oberholzer and Colton Murray warming up. He is content to keep throwing him breaking pitches.
He is. He's minus the first pitch. The cross-up was supposed to be a fastball inside. He has seen a steady diet of off-speed pitches. Be interested to see if they could maybe sneak a fastball inside. Carlos is set up down the middle, so.
And a changeup just missed low. And that puts runners on first and third with 1 out. Want to know the latest on the Phils? Then follow Phillies insider Jim Salisbury on Twitter and on CSNPhilly.com. First and third for Ozuna. He homered to center field his first time up.
You know, Tom, this is the last pitch, and the reason why I was saying throw a fastball, Bour was sitting all over off-speed pitch.
Because of the curves?
Exactly. So all of a sudden you get to the 3-2. He's sitting off speed. I know they're not going to challenge me because they haven't challenged me yet. That's where it might be a good idea to try to sneak a fastball inside. If you miss for a ball inside.
Yeah, so if he's looking changeup, and if he misses, if that's up a little bit more, look out.
Right, and because the way he took it, you could tell he was sitting off speed because he didn't even flinch at swinging at it like it was a fastball.
1 ball, no strikes to Ozuna. Over toward the hole, into left field, a base hit. A run will score Ozuna with his second RBI of the evening. It's 3-1 Marlins on top. And here comes Pete Buchanan, so that's going to be it for Jeremy Hellickson. He has the righty and the lefty warming up. Chris Johnson, the right-hander's coming up, so it looks like Colton Murray's going to come in. It will be the righty, so we've got a pitching change here at Marlins Park. The Phillies now trail the Marlins 3-1 here in the bottom of the sixth. Comcast Be a Fanatic About Reading Day is Saturday, May 21st, when the Phillies take on the Atlanta Braves at 3:05. A Fanatic children's book free to fans 14 and under. It's all part of a weekend series with the Atlanta Braves. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. One man down, runners on first and second. Colton Murray will be the new pitcher for the Phils. And he's come on to face Chris Johnson. Fourth ball game for Murray. And boy, could he use a ground ball right here. Runners take their lead off first and second. Johnson has doubled tonight. He's also grounded out to short. In the dirt. Good play by Ruiz to block the breaking ball.
I don't think Bohr is too much of a threat to steal third base. But they do want to control the running game.
Behind 2 balls and no strikes. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, says Bob Davidson. I think Bob got that right. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. I still think he got it right. That was a scorcher right past Lenny Harris. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, an update. No way. That can't be, right? A 2-run home run for Bartolo Colon, the first of his career.
Tom, I played in San Diego.
Yeah.
I never hit a home run there.
You should be embarrassed. A line to right field, right at Peter Borges will make the catch for the second.
now let's. Oh wait, I stand corrected. I did hit a home run as a visiting player.
Right.
But as a home player,
no, you never hit one.
Never even came close.
Well, it certainly is a hitter's ballpark, so that's why it was easy for Bartolo against James Shields.
Big game Shields.
I can't believe that.
I'm going to pull that video.
Well, you figure it had to go to left field. Had to go right down the line. I mean, that's not a small ballpark. Swing and a miss to Jeff Mathis. No balls and 1 strike. Popped up and out of play. 0-2. Boy, if Murray can get out of this and keep this at a 2-run game. I know runs have been tough to come by. Hits have been tough to come by. Over to shortstop, not hit that hard. Galvis is up with it, and the side is retired. So nice job by Colton Murray to get the last 2 batters and keep this a 2-run deficit. So as we go to the 7th inning, Ryan Howard will lead it off with the Phils trailing at 3-1. Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda dealers game summary. Phillies trail at 3-1 as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Jeremy Hellickson 5 1/3, 8 hits and 3 earned runs, a walk and 4 strikeouts. Tom Kohler, though, has been excellent for the Marlins, and he has not been excellent before tonight. His ERA 7.24 coming in. But solo homers by Bohr and Ozuna and an RBI single by Ozuna has given the Marlins a 3-1 lead in game 2 of this series. There's Kohler, who's had to sit for a while. He has 8 strikeouts. He has 5 strikeouts in the last 2 innings. And Ryan Howard will be the first to face him here in the 7th inning. Marlins did have bullpen action last inning. Craig Breslow had been warming up. I don't think he's warming up now, but he is lingering out there. First pitch to Howard. No balls and 1 strike.
Tom, do you think James Shields' stock just went down?
Well,
trade stock.
I think Bartolo Colon's going to break the internet for people looking to see if they can find that home run. It was like Stanton's last night. 1 ball and 1 strike. Breaking ball 1-2. I think Hit Tracker is going to probably wind up doing a feature on it. He becomes the 5th oldest pitcher to homer. Forget about that. He's in his man's in his 40s. I mean, not that you're not in your 40s, but scouting report says you can't throw him a cookie.
I just can't wait to see the exit velocity.
That's why I said he's broken the internet. Howard out front of that pitch. It remains 2-2. Did you find video evidence of it yet?
Still looking. Well, actually, they're still in the inning. They're in the 3rd inning, so I think they're still in shock. That's why there's no video.
I was going to say they're in disbelief.
He was due, that's for sure.
Out to left center field. Yelich was playing deep. He'll close and make the catch. Carlos Ruiz is coming up. Well, at one point, Carlos Ruiz's backup for the Philadelphia Phillies was Brian Schneider. And Brian, a great guy, is now embarking on a brand new career. Actually, Murphy embarked on this brand new career a couple years ago, but he's back in the big leagues in a different role.
He is, and I got to believe that even though he's in a different uniform now, watching the play that ended the bottom of the 5th inning with Carlos Ruiz blocking the play, that had to make him smile as he watched his former teammate make that play. Of course, Brian played with the Phils in 122 games between 2010 and 2012. But yeah, Tom, as you mentioned, embarking on now the coaching career. The post-playing days are now happening for Brian Schneider. He managed the Jupiter team for the Marlins Single-A affiliate for the last 2 years, but over this offseason, he got the call that they wanted him to come up to the big league team to help, as you mentioned, as the catching coordinator for this team. And he had to think about it because he has 4 young children, ages 9 and younger, 9, 7, 5, and 3, actually, his 4 kids. And so he had to think about it because he didn't want to be away for too long. But when they all talked about it, he said it was an opportunity he could not pass up. So here he is with the Marlins working with the catchers, some young catchers on this team, and he's really enjoying it. And I asked him if he had designs on maybe managing someday in the big leagues, and he said absolutely, that is his goal somewhere down the road, but that's what he wants to do. And it was really good catching up with Brian Schneider.
Forget that he's not even 40 years old.
Yeah, he's a young guy.
And that's remarkable. Northampton High School graduate. In fact, he's younger than Bartolo Colon.
He had more pop, though.
He did have more pop. But we liked having Brian around for the parts of those 2 years. As Galvis shows bunt, takes a strike, it's 0-1. Brian Schneider, the catching coordinator, catching coach for the Marlins. Phillies have one, and John McLaren. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Some coaches or some teams are going with the extra coach in the dugout instead of an extra hitting coach. Now the Marlins have both. Here's the 1-1 pitch coming to Galvis. Out of play, and it's 1-2. Well, it's another night where the Phillies offense is stalling here, Matt. 2 hits in 6 2/3. I'm going to mark this down as probably the 7th or 8th time that we've said that they're going to waste some good pitching again. I mean, and Hellickson wasn't perfect tonight.
No, but he still gave you an opportunity to win the game.
Sure.
I mean, 3-1. You faced a guy that had an over 7 ERA. Yeah, was he due to throw a good game?
Marcelo Zuna will glide under this one. 7 innings for Kohler. He's retired the last 7 batters that he has faced. He has not allowed a hit since the 4th, and will stretch here at Marlins Park. In Miami, the Phils still with just 2 base hits. Calling all kindergarten through 5th grade students. Join Ryan Howard and his teammates as they act out scenes from a book in the Little Rhino series during the Little Rhino read-along on June 8th. Proceeds benefit the Phillies MLB Urban Youth Academy through the Ryan Howard Big Peace Foundation. Ryan's made a large donation to that, the Urban Youth Academy. Go to Phillies.com/readalong for more information. Pete Mackanin is going to go to the bullpen to get Brett Oberholzer here in the bottom of the 7th inning because Ichiro has been introduced as a pinch hitter. Phillies down 3-1. Well, here in Miami, Tom Kohler was looking for a bounce-back start, and he has gotten it through 7 innings, and he has been lifted for a pinch hitter, Matt.
Yeah, he threw very well today. I thought he had a good game plan using the fastball. He used the fastball, curveball, slider early in the game. The later the game got going on, he started mixing in some changeups. Had a lot of our hitters swinging at a lot of changeups low later in the game. I thought he did a very nice job pitching today. And give some credit to Mathis for calling a very good game back there.
Absolutely. Well, here's Ichiro as Kohler's being congratulated by his teammates. 7 innings, 2 hits. And Ichiro, who is 53 hits away from 3,000 for his career, has a 1 ball, 1 strike. He has 12 hits this year. Ichiro does not play a whole lot. He's hitting .333. Those are his career numbers as a pinch hitter. Way outside by Oberholzer, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Ichiro has 343 career doubles. Now time is called. Something was tossed onto the field. Is that an airplane or? Matt, I think that means Ichiro. 2-1 pitch. Outside 3-1. Ichiro, if he stays healthy, has a chance to get 3,000 hits this year. Chance of Ichiro in the background. 3-2. Next up after him, you see he's 32nd all time on the hits list. Next up after him is Adrian Beltre, who has 2,797 career hits. And a strike 3 called. Ichiro is down looking. And 1 away here in the 7th inning. Oberholzer went after him with a fastball. Oberholzer now will face Derek Dietrich, who is 1 for 3 in this ball game. Hey, by the way, another nice job by Colton Murray. 2/3. He got out of that jam, did not allow any more runs to score, which is what Pete McCadden needed him to do in that 6th inning in relief of Jeremy Hellickson. Outside again, 2-0. Numbers on Oberholzer. Look away from the ERA. He's allowed 8 home runs in 14 innings so far.
But he's doing one of the hardest jobs in baseball for being a long guy. You sit around for 5, 6, 7 innings, and I'm not making excuses for anyone in baseball, but to stay sharp, you can throw as many bullpens as you want until you get in there and you get the adrenaline working and you're facing hitters in a game. It's tough. It really is.
Yeah, the other day when he pitched, the Phillies were out of the game against the Cardinals. At least it seemed that way, and they didn't have to burn anybody else. Outside 3-2. Swing and a miss. Carlos gets right after it and then throws out Dietrich. Back-to-back strikeouts, 2 outs. Time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia quiz answer. All right, Matt, here we go. What 2 second basemen have won Gold Gloves for the Marlins?
D. Gordon.
D. Gordon is correct. He did that last year.
It was Luis Castillo.
Luis Castillo did it in 2003, 2004, and 2005. Congratulations on getting the question correct. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack.
I did have to ask you about the proper pronunciation of the last name because all I could think of was Luis Gonzalez. He did not play
That
shortstop.
would not have been correct.
I would have got the buzzer.
Nor did he play second base.
Nope. Nor did he get a Gold Glove.
That's a good question. Did Luis Gonzalez win a Gold Glove?
I think Silver Slugger, and that's it.
1 ball, 1 strike. 1-2. You are correct, sir. Five-time All-Star.
Twice with Detroit. Once with Detroit.
Zippo with Detroit. All with Arizona. Base hit for Echeverria. He's 2 for 4. And Christian Yelich.
You know, we talked earlier about Yelich being that type of hitter of being a 330 hitter, 340 with 25, 30 home runs. He's got 2 knocks tonight, both come with 2 strikes, 1 to left field and 1 broken bat single to right field. So he doesn't get as aggressive when he has 2 strikes on him as a hitter, which is smart. I mean, it really is. It cuts down your strikeouts. You're putting the ball in play. Your average jumps up every at bat when you get a knock.
To Yelich. There's nobody warming up in the Phillies bullpen, which is interesting since Stanton is on deck. A couple of close throws over to first base.
That move right there is a very quick snap move right there. That's the type of move where you try to get when the guy leading off is taking a secondary lead.
One hopper flagged down by Galvis. What a play! And after spinning, he gets his bearings and throws to first, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left in a fantastic defensive play by Freddie Galvis, who had to react quickly. We'll head to the 8th inning here in Miami. The Phils trail the Marlins 3-1. Baseball is brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. By the Pennsylvania's Lottery. New instant game. Pennsylvania Millions. Must be 18 or older to play. Please play responsibly. And by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Well, the roof is open. It was open last night. It's open here tonight. It'll probably be open tomorrow afternoon as well, as long as the weather holds up. And then the next time we come out, it's going to be closed, I would think. Chris Johnson moves to first base from third base. And the new second baseman is Rojas, who started at shortstop last night. Dietrich goes from second to third. It's kind of interesting. And the new pitcher is Kyle Bearclaw, who will face David Lowe. Bearclaw has not allowed a run so far. 17 strikeouts and 10 2/3. He did pitch in last night's game. He pitched a scoreless inning, a scoreless 8th inning. Tomorrow the Phils and the Marlins will wrap this baby up with Aaron Nola on the mound for the Phillies. Justin Nicolino will start for the Marlins. Got to get a base runner.
Which means you should be taking this pitch. Figure down by 2, 3-1 fastball. You'd be getting the exact same pitch 3-2, or at least you're hoping you get it.
Outside ball 4. Well, you saw his glove. He couldn't put his last name on it because it's spelled. It's got such a long spelling. There's just no room for it. So he just puts claw on his glove. There it is, claw. Maybe put a picture of pastry on it too. Here is Andres Blanco to pinch hit for Brett Oberholzer. Blanco 286 overall. His career numbers as a pinch hitter. He's been one of the more reliable pinch hitters in the game these last couple of years. And he takes a fastball for strike 1. Elvis Araujo is warming up. Looks like David Hernandez is going to start throwing. No. Yes, he may start throwing. He's got his glove on out in the bullpen. Don't forget Stanton is due to lead it off. No balls and 2 strikes to Blanco. And Lowe is back ahead of the tag.
The way I see it, in the 8th inning, when you're down by 2, you have to dive back into first base. Your lead's too big. Your run doesn't mean anything.
balls and 2 strikes to Blanco. Lowe leads off first. And Andre stays alive. I don't know how Andres hit that ball, honestly. He's fighting to stay alive here and get on base. If he gets on to put runners on first and second, right now Ruff's in the on-deck circle, but Borges would bat. And then he'd bunt. Look out. Ball's bouncing every which way, man. There's David Hernandez. We wondered if a right-hander would get up. Show me pitch there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Better watch out for the inside part of the plate again.
That fan didn't get that glove up quite quick enough.
No. Nope. He did not. He's explaining how close he was to getting that baseball.
Yeah, in the forehead.
I was going to say he just dropped the glove. One ball and 2 strikes. They're setting up inside on Blanco. Bearclaw is pretty deliberate. Now the last pitch, he was fortunate that the umpires didn't call a balk, because it looked like he didn't come to a complete stop.
But also, sorry Tom, it showed me that he didn't feel very comfortable throwing that pitch.
Yeah.
They're calling for a slider down and in.
Fouls it again. Nine pitch at bat, 6 foul balls.
Whitey's not very happy with himself, because he's out of the 6 foul balls, he's probably had 3 or 4 pitches, pretty good pitches to hit. He's fouling them off. You can tell when he talks about it, he tells him, stay back, get the hands through the zone. Right there, he's telling himself, hey, I want the barrel going that way towards through the zone.
In the dirt, 2-2. Mathis keeps it in front. David Lowe began the inning with a walk. Marlins have the infield a double play depth. This Marlins bullpen has been excellent during this stretch. You know, their offense is one thing. They're hitting the ball well, winning these 11 of 12, but their bullpen has really settled into its roles. Well, let's see if he can finish this at bat off and get on base, because he really has done a heck of a job fighting back from 0-2. Down the right field line, over toward the corner. It is a fair ball as it kicks around. Rounding third and holding there is Lowe. And the Phillies have runners on second and third with nobody out as Andres Blanco comes through. Boy, I don't know how that ball stayed fair.
Well, it's just an unbelievable at bat. You can see right here, curveball down in the zone. Along that barrel, stays through the zone, keeping that ball fair. It's just missing a home run.
Almost went out of the ballpark. Well,
again, it comes back to where he's talking to himself about doing the hand gesture of keeping that barrel through the zone. Even though he got out in front of that ball and hooked it, he still took the barrel through the zone as long as possible and kept that ball fair.
Well, now you've got Darren Ruff who will pinch hit for Peter Borges. And Juan Nieves will come out to the mound and talk to Bearclaw. They're going to get the lefty Craig Breslow up because they want him ready for, I guess, Odubel Herrera. Boy, what a fantastic at-bat as it turned out. Andres Blanco was down 0-2 and had to foul off some tough pitches. Now, those pitches may not have been strikes, but he took a hack at them, so he had to get a piece of it. Phillies have 10 pinch hits now on the season. So Darren Ruff will now be the batter. Darren hitting a .160. He's 8 for 50. 7 strikeouts this year as a pinch hitter. Bearclaw got away with the pitch there.
Yeah, that first pitch. You know, and that's where, as a pinch hitter, you got to walk in. You got to know your strength. If you're a good fastball hitter, chances are you're going to get a breaking pitch first pitch. So go ahead and sit on a breaking ball, especially with with third, second, and third with nobody out. Ooh.
You got there.
Get excited when I talk hitting.
0-2. Threw him a slider there. No balls and 2 strikes.
Bearcats got to be pretty happy right now. He just made 2 terrible pitches, back-to-back hanging sliders.
Just missed. It's 1-2. Oof.
I think I said Bearcat. Bear Claw.
I thought you were friends
Told
with
you,
him.
I'm into the game about the hitting. The claw.
One ball, 2 strikes to Ruff. Runners lead off second and third. Ground ball toward third. It's a fair ball. It's picked up around the bag by Dietrich. And he throws out Darren Ruff. 1 away. Well, if you're David Lowe, you're better safe than sorry on that play. Go back to the third base bag. And let's see what the Marlins decide to do with Odubel Herrera coming up. Do they go bring in the lefty? Here comes Don Mattingly. And he's going to make a pitching change. So they'll bring in the left-hander to face Odubel Herrera. The Phils have the tying runs aboard here in the top half of the 8th inning. Sunday, proudly supported by Chevrolet. Sunday, May 15th, when the Phillies take on the Cincinnati Reds. A bat and ball set free to fans 14 and under. And after the game, it's Nemours Kids Run the Bases. Tickets, as always, can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Call the box office on Monday morning if you'd like to. Craig Breslow is the new pitcher for the Miami Marlins. He'll come on to face Odubel Herrera with runners on second and third. Lefties are hitting .409 against Breslow. He did have a scoreless outing last night. I don't know the lefty-righty thing really phases Odubel Herrera too much. I understand the move. You know, you obviously play the odds, lefty against lefty. But I think Odubel's, even though he struck out twice tonight, I think he bears down enough where he can try to make contact against the left-hander.
I think versus the left-hander, he changes his approach a little bit. He realizes he has to stay back. Against a right-hander, sometimes you get in a bad habit where you attack the baseball and go after it sometimes. Well, versus left-handers, you always tell yourself, let's sit off speed and we'll react and we'll see what type of pitch and what type of velocity he has. Just for some reason, lefty on lefty, lefty stay back a little longer.
Well, the Phillies failed to not only get the run in, but get the runner over with Darren Ruff, who rolled one right up the third base line. So now it'll be Odubel. And then Cesar Hernandez, a switch hitter. The Marlins do have another right-hander that's up and warming in the bullpen. It's probably Brian Morris. So the pitch to Odubel. He takes a strike, 0-1. Odubel has scored the one run for the Phillies tonight. Broke his bat, and it's 0-2. Oh, be careful. Way outside, 1-2. Yelich is shortened up out in left field. Ozuna straight away and normal depth in center field. I think Stanton, you can say, is shortened up just a little bit out and right.
Yeah, a little bit, and to me, I think Yelich is playing a little too shallow. Whitey doesn't have the greatest speed at second base. Yelich is a below-average thrower in left. Anything hit to Yelich's left on the ground hard, she's going to the scoreboard.
And he pokes it into left field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Lowe will score. Blanco holds it third. An RBI single for Odubel Herrera. It's a one-run game. So Herrera now with 11 RBIs, and Cesar Hernandez will come up to bat right-handed. This all began with the walk to Lowe.
It's a good at-bat. It's a tough at-bat. Frustrating bat for a pitcher because you make your quality pitch off the plate. But Herrera with tremendous hands. See the reaction of Freddie Galvis enjoys it.
Got to get that run home from third. It's a 3-2 ball game. The third baseman Dietrich pinches in. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes.
So you got a first and third situation. You have Diedrich playing pretty much even at third base. Ground ball to him, you have to go as a base runner at third. So Whitey needs to go on contact just to stay out of the double play. Hopefully he decides to try to get the runner out at home plate instead of going around the horn of 5-4-3 double play. Now, on the other hand, the ground ball to first base, Johnson will be coming home because it's harder to roll 3-6-3, usually because the first baseman doesn't have that strong of an arm.
And a line drive, base hit it to right field. Blanco will score. Herrera's around second, heading to third. The throw by Stanton is offline, and the Phils have tied it up and have runners on first and third with one man down. Second hit of the night for Cesar Hernandez. Boy, they've done a lot of things really well in this inning. They had 2 hits coming into this inning. They have 3 in this one. And they have tied it up at 3 here in the top half of the 8th inning. And with one man down, it's Franco's turn.
Nice job right here. Supposed to be a fastball way up in the zone. Hernandez, nice level swing, hitting a line drive to right field. I like the fact that Herrera said, yep, I know he has a cannon in right field, but I'm still going to go first to third.
Well, a double switch by Don Mattingly. He's going to go back to his bullpen. Phillies have tied it up at 3. They have runners on first and third. We'll be back right after this. The players, not Juan Samuel, Mickey Morandini, but Cesar Hernandez and Odubel Herrera had 2 huge hits in this inning. But probably the at-bat of the inning was Andres Blanco, a 12-pitch at-bats.
Yeah, the first pitch was a fastball down the middle, then a breaking ball backdoor. And all of a sudden, here comes the foul ball. Fastball away, hang on slider, he fouls off. Another slider down and in, so does a nice job of battling, keeps on going, makes the pitcher work. Eventually, I promise you he's going to make a mistake. But again, staying on the baseball, giving himself an opportunity to get into a hitter's count, and he gets back to a 3-2 count. How he hits this ball 333 feet keeps it fair, I do not know. But one of the better at-bats we've seen this year from a Phillies hitter.
All right, so now it'll be Maikel Franco's turn. Righty on righty with runners on first and third, and the Phils have tied it at 3. Brian Morris, the new pitcher. Morris, a 3.86 ERA. He is the 3rd pitcher used in this inning by Don Mattingly. And now Jeff Mathis will step in front of the plate, lay down some signs, tell everybody what he's going to do if Cesar decides to go.
This is where you take the opportunity or take a chance and sit on a breaking pitch. If he throws you a fastball, so what? Sit on a breaking pitch. and hopefully he makes a mistake.
Jeff Mathis called for time this time. See what the Phillies did the first 7 innings, what they've done here in the 8th inning. And looking to do a little bit more damage with a go-ahead run over at third. Swing and a miss. 0-1. There was that breaking pitch. He was sitting fastball, though. They'll learn.
I hope. It's just a matter of taking an opportunity, taking a chance. Righty's not going to come in and throw a first pitch fastball to your strength with first and third situation.
Chopper over to third. It's a fair ball. The throw goes to second for one. Over to first. It's dropped. The run scores. Chris Johnson dropped the ball. And the Phillies take the lead. It's a 4-3 ball game. A dead double play around the horn. A strike to Chris Johnson, and he just dropped it. Martin Prado made a heck of a throw over to second base. They were going to get Franco in plenty of time.
Dubel does a nice job jumping over the baseball, but
yes,
Prado
he does.
makes a solid throw. Perfect throw to first base.
He just dropped it. Well, you can't assume the double play, so you're going to give an RBI to Franco on that one. And here's Howard, who breaks his bat, grounds it to third. Prado flips to second. 5-6 on the putout. The side is retired, but the Phillies have taken the lead. They scored 3 runs here in the inning. Wow. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 4-3. Phillies on top. Score 4-3. I mean, this happens, but it was a strike, and he just dropped it. You can't assume the double play. You give the RBI to Franco, but there is an error charged to Johnson on that. At least that's the initial thought from the official score. David Hernandez will take over on the mound. Darren Ruff stays in the game to play left field. Lowe moves from left field to right field. In the air to left field. Darren Ruff is there, and he'll make the catch. Thankfully, it was toward the end of the bats of Giancarlo Stanton. And there's one away. Well, I just don't want to see him ever again. I mean, you heard the sound. It didn't sound like last night's, but it was a swing that told you.
You can see towards the end of the bat. A lot of times you just have to watch these big power hitters. You can tell he was frustrated because he missed it.
So David Hernandez now will face Martin Prado, who came on to play third base in the 8th inning. Prado takes outside. Two and 0. Prado hitting .379. Hitting .429 in his last 11 games. Fly ball down the right field line. That'll slice into the crowd. He's a guy that can spray the ball to all fields. 10 of his hits have gone to left field. 20 of his hits have gone to center field. And 6 of his hits have gone to right field, including 1 last night. Over to third, and Franco to the glove side. Throws a strike. 2 outs. Time for the Major League Notebook. Murph, take it away.
Thank you very much, Son. Well, the world champion Kansas City Royals are dealing with a little bit of adversity. They got word today that third baseman Mike Moustakas has a fractured bone in his thumb, and he is headed to the 15-day disabled list. Moose told the coaching staff that he thought he could play through it, but then when he got to the ballpark today, couldn't put his hand in his glove or grab a bat. That was enough for the coaching staff to know that he had to head to the DL. And how about the start the Cubs are having? They've won 23 of their first 29. They've won 3 straight over the Washington Nationals, guys. It's the best start for a National League team since the Dodgers started with 23 wins in 1977. But maybe a more impressive number right now, the Cubs are plus 101 through 29 games in run differential, plus 101. Last year at this time, the Cardinals led the National League, plus 50 through 29 games. How about that?
Well, they are scoring a lot of runs. How about the fact they have 16 wins this year where they've won the game by 4 runs or more? Marlins have done that 4 times. Phillies have done it once. Just to put it into perspective. That one's lined foul. And it's 1-2. And Murph, I think the studio audience is wondering, since you call Mike Moustakas Moose, does he refer to you as Murph?
Well, I'm sure he would if we ever met. Because nobody knows my first name.
Or that there's 3 G's in it.
That's right.
He's only called Greg when somebody's mad at him. One ball and 2 strikes. Grounded to the third. Waiting for it is Franco, and across the diamond, Blanco holds onto the bag. Franco to Blanco, and the inning is over. A 1-2-3 8th inning for David Hernandez. We'll go to the 9th. The Phils now looking for a little insurance. 3. The Phillies on top of the Marlins. How about this play by Andres Blanco?
Well, it's just tremendous footwork. You know, Franco throws the ball down the line. The concentration, proper technique. Doing the little two-step going inside the line and making a catch. Good footwork right there.
Blanco went into the dugout yelling, "Let's go, let's get some more runs." Here's Carlos Ruiz. Carlos to lead it off against Brian Morris. Ruiz is grounded out to short. He's flied out twice. Takes high, 1 ball and no strikes. Foul back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Carlos lifts it into the air to shallow right field. Stanton comes sprinting in and puts it away. And 1 gone. Don't forget, after the ball game, Ricky Metallico will be along for a complete breakdown of this matchup against the Marlins. Only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Postgame Live. Jedmar Gomez warming up in the bullpen. Phils have the lead. There is Gomez. Freddie Galvis has struck out twice. He's also flied to center.
You see Freddie doing the same gesture with his hand of go through the baseball. That was a pretty good pitch to hit right there. And he smothered it by casting his hands away from his body and getting the barrel outside the baseball. Did it again.
Yeah. Thought his swings from the right side of the plate actually looked pretty good last night.
He had very good timing on
yeah.
He did. Lefty, not so much. It's almost like a jump swing right now. Balance is off. Hands are going away from his body, which means he's surrounding the baseball, becoming a pull hitter. You know, you can take a lot of batting practice all you want. Try to hit the ball to left field. A good way to do a drill by getting your hands back inside the baseball is do a tee work and set the tee work as close as behind home plate as you can, and almost like you're jamming yourself and you're forcing to hit the ball to left field. It just keeps you on a good path of using your hands and keeping the barrel inside the baseball. So it's almost like you're hitting off a tee, but you're hitting every ball to third base. And we talk about that in-out swing. Watch how quick his barrel goes to the zone, and then it comes out. He's not giving himself a chance to stay through the baseball. He's getting to that point of contact, and automatically his barrel is coming right back towards his right hip, which you call the in-out swing. He's got to go through it.
Galvis strikes out and is out as he leaves the circle. 2 outs. That is a disgruntled Freddie Galvis right there. David Lowe. David Lowe's walk started the 3-run rally in the 8th inning for the Phillies.
You know, I like the fact that Freddie went back and banged his bat up against the bat rack and, you know, tore his glove off. He's not happy with his at bat, and he shouldn't be. But now you got to let it go and you play defense. Always tomorrow to hit.
Softly out to short. Echeverria charges and releases quickly. It's a 1-2-3, top of the 9th inning. So here we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Genmar Gomez. The last time he was on the mound, he blew a save against the Cardinals. He's trying to bounce back with a 1-run lead here in Miami. game 3-1, then scored 3 runs in their half of the 8th inning. And now as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning, Genmar Gomez in his 16th ball game is going to try to pick up his 10th save of the season. 12 strikeouts in 16 2/3. David Hernandez pitched a 1-2-3 8th inning for the Phillies to set this one up. And a reminder, every time the Phillies retire the opposing team 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. It'll be Mathis to lead it off, and then Rojas, who came in earlier, or excuse me, Chris Johnson to lead it off, then Mathis, and then Rojas, who came in earlier, against Gomez. Johnson is 1 for 3. He doubled his first time up, grounded out, and lined out.
You know, with that Bartolo Colon home run tonight, there's going to be a lot of record breakings tonight. He became the oldest player to hit his first major league home run, first pitcher, beating Randy Johnson at age 40.
And I think I saw mentioned it before, the 5th oldest overall.
Yeah.
Johnson will lead it off. Phillies with 4 runs on 5 hits. The Marlins 3 runs on 9 hits. Last night it was the Phillies who out-hit the Marlins, but wound up losing the game. The Phillies are hoping to return the favor here tonight. Pete McCannon's got his closer in to try to finish this baby up. The 1-0 pitch coming to Johnson.
Back-to-back pitches, pretty good area right there.
Genmar doesn't normally show too much reaction to anything, and he reacted on both of those pitches. I thought the second one was better than the first.
I would agree.
There's a strike. It's 2-1. Chris Johnson seemed like he was taking a strike the whole way. Fouls it away. 2-2.
Another good fastball, good location. Chu's trying to go that backdoor sinker at 92. Johnson be able to fight that pitch off because that's actually his path of a swing. He likes to try to hit the ball to right field, right center.
Got him. Boy, that ball had some wicked movement. One away here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Well, this is the slider where you're just geared up for a fastball. Slider not even close to being a strike, but you're thinking, here comes a fastball, I'm going to crush it. Next thing you know, you're way out in front of a slider.
So JT Realmuto will pinch hit for Jeff Mathis. Realmuto is hitting .312. He's been the leadoff hitter for the last few games for the Marlins. He's not your typical leadoff hitter because he does swing early normally in counts. 1 ball, no strikes. 2-0. Back toward the middle, a base hit. So the tying run is aboard. Realmuto off the bench with a base hit. And now Miguel Rojas. The pitcher spot is the leadoff spot, which is next. That means that Cole Gillespie will have to pinch hit because he's all that's left on the Marlins bench. But first it's Rojas, who came on to play second base a couple innings ago. 267 hitter, utility man. He has 8 hits and 30 at bats during the season. Phillies will set up to turn 2. And Gomez maybe throw a sinker to force 2. Realmuto does have a stolen base. I can't imagine he's going too far here.
Gomez is trying to overthrow a little bit instead of relying on that very good sinker that he has with the late movement. He's not getting as much movement on his fastball. He's trying to get that little extra oomph on his fastball, it seems like. That's why he's missing, not being able to throw a first pitch strike.
I think it's easy to sit here and say this, but if he tries to get more oomph, he's not going to get more movement.
Right. And the ball's not going to come out as normal as it does. It's not going to come out that 92 consistently. You're going to be 90-91.
1 ball, no strikes. There's a strike to the knees. It's 1-1.
See, that's the difference right there. That pitch at 90 miles an hour and getting that late movement.
Gomez is ready, and now time is called. Can't blame Rojas for calling time. It was a long wait in between pitches.
Certain umpires will give you that timeout, and certain umpires will not. Ted Barrett will not call timeout.
Got a little extra run right now on that fastball. Ground ball to second base. This should do it. Hernandez flips to Galvis for one over the first, and the Phils finish off the comeback, and they win it by a final score of 4-3. Well, what a way to take game